There is that snow we were promised, Riley. That is it.
Beautiful.
That snow about that much, which is about 1/4 of an inch, will shut this entire city down. It's basically, it's like The Edge out there.
Yeah.
You know the Alec Baldwin movie?
Yeah,
That's pretty much what it's like out there.
Snow days off for us, though.
Snow days off, bears show up. Yeah, snow days off for us. That is true. Good one. And I repeated it. Hello, everyone. This is Digital Trends Live. This is our daily show here from Digital Trends, where we talk about the trending tech topics of the day and bring you great interviews, segments, all kind of stuff that we're doing, broadcasting live to you right now via all of our different social media outlets and more. So we are live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Periscope, all of those. Taking your comments, drop those in there as we go through. Want to say hi to Brian, Raymond, Keelan, Eric, different people that are popping in there. That's just on Facebook alone. So get your comments in. We've got a really exciting show lined up for you. So on the docket today, coming up in a bit, we're going to have basically an internet legend. So Stephan Paternot was one of the founders of theglobe.com. Now, The Globe was back in about 1998, one of the biggest sites in the world, one of the first social media sites. It was a huge, huge thing right around then. They made, I think at the time, one of the biggest IPO offerings ever. They ballooned 600% on the first day. And he is the author of a book called A Very Public Offering, The Story of Theglobe.com and the First Internet Revolution. He's also represented on the show Valley of the Boom on National Geographic. There's somebody playing him from that time, and he's one of the CEOs and founders, or he is the CEO and co-founder of Slated.com. Pretty accomplished. He's going to be joining us here in just a little bit. Stephan Paternot going to be on the show today, so get your questions ready for him. We've got Stephanie Humphrey, aka Tech Life with Steph, who's going to be joining us at our New York studio to talk with Les Shu about some different gifts you can get for some tech gifts for Valentine's Day. So there's a lot that you can do for that. So Stephanie is going to be joining for that in our New York studio. And we have Drew Prindle, our emerging technologies editor, who's going to be back on the show today to talk about this idea of real-time fact-checking on TV. I guess we're getting to the point where we can almost do that. I don't know if I'd want that on this show, because how many times maybe I'd be like, boom, didn't pronounce this correctly. Boom, didn't do this right. But real-time fact-checking on TV, that is something that we're on the precipice of having. But do we want it? Will we adopt it? What do you think about that? All that will be discussed on the show. I'm Greg Nibbler, and joining me here in studio is Riley Wynn. Hello, Riley.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning. You did survive it and make it in. So since we are broadcasting here in Portland, Oregon, just to say it is true, like 1/8 of an inch of snow can shut this entire city down. So it's a bit rough out there right now. Nothing compared to what 90% of the country has had to deal with.
Nope.
But that's just Portland. That's just how it is. So, but we are here. We're broadcasting. The snow will never stop us. And so let's go ahead and go to our top tech headline right now. So this is just kind of what's trending. We have some other headlines we'll get to here in a minute. But this is one that I don't think is going to go away until they just finally announce this phone. But people are in love with Samsung rumors. And in particular, this is the Samsung foldable phone we're talking about now, possibly called the Samsung Flex, the Galaxy Flex. We don't know the name yet.
We don't know yet.
Yeah, we know that it's going to be coming, that they are going to have their foldable phone. They are going to announce it. But they haven't really shown it much, except for they had the I guess
demo.
The conference, the demo, kind of, where they just kind of showed it. It wasn't even a full demo, where they were showing that on stage. And then also there was a commercial, a teaser commercial for their announcements for Samsung Unpacked, which is coming up February 20th, where we got just a brief showing of it. Well, there's a company called Let's Go Digital that took that image that was briefly shown and did a rendering of what they think it's going to look like. And the rendering is pretty interesting. I think that once we take a look at that, it kind of shows just how it can fold out, kind of gives you a little bit more of an idea of what it would look like. And Riley, I want to know what you think on this. Do you want a foldable phone?
I don't really care for the foldable phone. I have never had a tablet and never seen the use for one. So I don't see the purpose of going from phone to tablet. I don't see that as a huge need. I think it's going to be, it's just a cool factor thing that people are just buying into. I don't think there's going to be too much, more functionality compared to a normal phone or a normal tablet. And also the video and the renderings, they make it look super thin. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that thin. I think they were very generous with the renderings that they recreated of it, because when it's folded up, it still is looks like it's thinner than my finger, but I don't think it's going to be that thin.
You don't think it's going to be that thin?
Because the processing power it has to be able to do those dual functions, it's going to be beefier. It's going to have to be beefier, and that's going to make it thicker. You know, I mean, I just don't think it's going to turn out.
You don't think it's going to be as cool, and that's what I do want to know. You know, what people think. Do you want this foldable phone? Are you excited about it? Because people are talking about it all the time, and I know it's a big topic. The thing is, the price is going to be probably very expensive.
Yeah.
For me, I want to know what the software is going to do, because that's about the only thing that's you know, that's going to make it worthwhile.
Yeah, and I just don't see too much coming out of it. I really don't. Like, we got a chance to look at I believe it was Honor, the FlexPi.
Yes.
We got a chance to look at
from Royale.
Royale.
Yeah.
Royal FlexPi. We got the chance to see that at CES and kind of see the functionality hands-on.
Yeah.
There, and it was cool. Like, don't get me wrong. It's
right.
cool.
It's a neat
but do I need to spend $2,500 or whatever it's going to cost?
Right.
No.
Yeah, and we don't know the exact price of what's going to come out. We don't know exactly what it's going to run on, because Samsung's kind of been keeping this stuff back.
No way.
We know there's a bunch of companies that are going to be releasing them, or at least claiming they're going to have their own foldable phones. Huawei said they're going to have one. You know, LG is claiming they're going to have one. There's several different companies, and I'm sure I'm missing a bunch of them that say they're going to have them. Samsung, it's hoping, and we don't know for sure, but we think maybe they'll announce this on February 20th at the Samsung Unpacked event. They also have to announce the S10s, though. And so if you announce your S10s, your real line where you actually want people to buy those, you know, in mass amounts, then you announce a foldable phone. Does that just take away all the shine from your S10?
Yeah, and I think, so they're going to announce the S10, and hopefully that's going to be for sale very shortly after.
Yeah.
Foldable phone, they're gonna maybe they'll debut it, but it's not gonna be for sale. So you're gonna have people that are waiting out for the foldable phone. So it might, cannibalize the sales for the S10.
Yeah.
So I don't think it'd be a smart move for them to announce both.
Right. But then if they don't announce it, then
people are going to be ticked off.
People are going to be ticked off, and somebody else is going to announce theirs before them. So it'll be interesting to see what Samsung does. But I don't think the rumors are not going to go away. The interest is not going to go away. It's just going to keep on going. We have Raymond there chatting on Facebook. If you're going to foldable phone, just go to tablet or a computer. And I kind of agree with that. At least as of right now, until I can actually see this thing in action. I don't really. I'm kind of with you.
I agree with Raymond 100%.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll see where that goes. Keep dropping in your comments and questions there, because it's an interesting debate. We all want to know about it, whether we like it or not. Everybody likes talking about it, and these rumors every day are trending for anything to do with Samsung until this February 20th event. I don't think it's going to go away. We've got lots of coverage, though, at digitaltrends.com. You can go there and kind of keep up to date with everything that we know, everything that's being speculated. You see these renders come out. Is that what it's going to look like? Maybe that's probably the closest we've seen, and that was from Let's Go Digital. But we still don't know, because Samsung hasn't shown us yet. So Samsung, if you'd like to come on the show and show us your foldable phone, you are welcome any day of the week, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. Please let us know. We would love to have you on here, show off the foldable phone. Just put the rumors to bed. Let's just talk about it right here.
Let's do it together.
Yeah, come on. We'll help you out. All right, let's go on to our next segment here, which is called Read 'em and Weep, because yes, we do read the comments here on Digital Trends. Every day we go through our different platforms and take a look at them. I will say that Riley here actually is in charge of posting most of the social media posts that we have. So he also reads the comments. So now is your time to talk directly to him. Let him know what you think about what's been posted. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of these as we go through them. And again, we do this segment every day as we take a look at what different comments we've had come through across our different platforms for this Read 'em and Weep segment. All right. Riley, go ahead and say that name for me.
Tang Kwok Ho Gordon.
All right, thank you. Regarding alphabets, Verily is reportedly working on a shoe that can track your weight. Okay, which are programmed to scream, "Oh God, someone help us! She is crushing us with every step." I don't know if we want the AI in the shoe necessarily, but yeah, tracking your weight, huh?
I don't think you need it every step.
Do you really want to know all the time?
No, I don't need to know how fat I am every second of the day.
Like every time it's like you eat, have an extra piece of pizza, Greg. You eat that, then boom, instantly it updates you.
It's real heavy now.
My seams are getting stretched. I don't think I want you know, some smart ass shoe telling me how much I weigh.
No, I don't. And honestly, this is just because Alphabet's Google's parent company. Like, this is just a way to get more of our data.
Yeah.
So they can push us fitness apps, you know.
They can build a full replica.
Yeah,
of you.
Not just, you know, get our internet usage data, but our like fitness and health data that we have. And so, I mean, I'm kind of for it actually.
Okay. So Riley will try those
help you track your health.
Nope, I'm good. I don't need to know. I'm good living in ignorance when it comes to that.
That is true.
All right, well, thank you, though. That is a very good comment about that. All right, as we're going through here, Kay Deniger. Regarding how, oh boy, it's a 5G comment. Yay. Regarding how 5G will change your smartphone and your life in 2019, we do have a video up and a whole rundown on the site about 5G. For all you technophobes who fear the 5G apocalypse, I have a solution for you. Move out of the city. Stop living like rats in a cage. Move to the country and live amongst trees and grass, not concrete and asphalt. So yeah, I mean, that is true. We do get an incredible number of 5G comments about people who are against 5G or think that 5G is going to control your brain or it's part of the hidden government that's ruling the world. A lot of comments that come through, and not as many chemtrails as I expected, but still. That's true. If you're afraid of 5G, it is going to be a while until we actually have it.
Yep.
So you don't have to worry quite yet, despite what AT&T says. We don't have 5G yet. But yeah, that's probably the solution.
Yeah, no, when I read this too in my head, when I was reading it to myself, I read it in Ron Swanson's voice. Because that is something exactly he would say.
Who fear the 5G. Yeah, that was a terrible Ron Swanson. I can't,
that was great.
I have a solution for you. Leslie, no. All right, so, yeah, so that's a good comment. I think that we should refer back to that one for a lot of the 5G technophobes that are out there. All right, continuing on with our with our comments, we've got Alex Shamanik regarding Visa confirms Coinbase is not responsible for recent overcharges. Yet more FUD. You know what?
I don't
Do you know? Okay, you're the social media guy.
I don't know what that means.
All right, I don't know what that means either. Okay, more FUD. I'm assuming it's not good by Digital Trends.
I'm guessing it's not.
I'm assuming it's
fear, uncertainty, and doubt.
Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Okay. Wow. All right. More fear, uncertainty, and doubt by Digital Trends. Tell your banker masters that cryptocurrency is going to win. It's inevitable. All your lies won't help you in the end. People are sick of being controlled.
Oh my goodness.
Wow, Alex. All right. I'm not sure where Digital Trends factors in there.
So I will say, not just this article specifically, but any Bitcoin or cryptocurrency article we always have people that think we're against it.
Yeah.
I don't know why, because our articles are very in the middle, you know, we don't have a stance on it, we're just kind of reporting on what's happening. And
so if you're not like super pro,
if we're not super pro into it, everyone is always giving us grief for, you know, saying it's like the downfall of the human race and it's never going to last. And that's not true. We have like how to, you know, mine your own Bitcoin, what cryptocurrencies are best for your situation. So, I mean, we're very, you know, in the middle on the whole cryptocurrency thing, but we always get stuff like this.
I mean, I will say we did have a story yesterday about a $190 million cryptocurrency bank that is now inaccessible because the founder and CEO passed away with the only password. So there's $190 million that's inaccessible, and that's cryptocurrency. I mean, I think there's a lot that cryptocurrency is going to do well, but I don't think it's unfair to report some of the other things. So not necessarily spreading fear, uncertainty, and doubt, but I do like knowing what that means. So that's,
Now I know it's not FU Digital Trends, because that's how I read it.
Yeah, it could go either way. Marc-Andre B. regarding awesome tech you can't buy yet. Best episode in a long time. Love it. Well, that one goes out to our own Drew Prindle, I believe.
Feeling the love, Andre.
Wow. Yep, there it was. There he was. You got it. All right. So continue on with the comments. We got one more comment here, and then we'll get to a little bit more of the news, and then we'll have our interview here in just a minute. Jake Albert. This is a long one regarding Walgreens smart fridges. Scan your face and remember your behavior. Lols at the people BSing, well, that's not what he's saying. That's not what he's saying. Yet here they are on Facebook on their tablet or smartphone like the people who are complaining about Walmart spying on them. I'm sure you're doing top secret stuff at Walmart and Walgreens. Yeah, I can kind of see where he's coming from. But still at the same time, I don't know if I like the fridges at Walgreens that
No,
necessarily scan everything.
Do you really want a fridge to talk to you? Like, that sounds terrifying.
Yeah.
And then also, again, with like the shoe thing, if I'm getting something unhealthy, the
Right.
fridge tells me to get something healthy. No.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
let me be fat. Like,
Another
me what to do,
energy drink,
fridge.
Riley? Really?
yeah, another one? You sure about that?
I mean, yeah, I don't know if I want it telling me that. I mean, I know what I'm doing isn't necessarily what I want. You know, it's not good. Maybe it's something I don't want anybody to know about. You know, maybe I went to Taco Bell.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's good. I am seeing there's some great comments that have been coming through too. Brian just said, most banks are federally insured. So yeah, that is one thing about the cryptocurrency side. Yeah, a lot of, George says FUD or FUDT. All right, fair enough.
Open that one up for the
floodgates. You put that one out there. Now it's in the lexicon. All right, a couple more news stories that we're going to get to here, and then we're going to have Stephan Paternot on to talk about theglobe.com and his book, and I'm really excited about that interview. Another thing that's trending right now has to do with Google, and Google, you know, always in the news a lot for things. This has to do with a couple of apps they came out with, though. I downloaded one of these apps. So there's two apps that they came out with that are supposed to help the hearing impaired. One is basically it's a sound booster.
Yep.
It's called Sound Amplifier, and that's exactly what it does. You can amplify sounds and maybe decrease background noise, so that does help out with that. The other one's an app called Live Transcribe, and the way this works is that it live transcribes a conversation. You probably can't see this very well, and I didn't tell the production crew about this. This is not on them. This is not on them at all. I didn't even think about this.
Improv right here.
But right now it's transcribing everything that I'm saying. And this is basically can work with a two-way conversation. If you're in a room and you want to have, you know, and you can't hear exactly what somebody is saying, it does a pretty good job until I show it on camera, and then it stops working. So
there you go.
In theory, you know, this is happening in real time. It's translating what I'm saying, and I think that actually could really be very helpful for a lot of people who are hard of hearing and need this kind of assistance. I think it's a good app for that. There's a couple of things that I'm sure people will say about it. One, the fact that it's recording everything that you're saying, and yes, that's true. If that's something that you're concerned about, then that's clearly something that's going to be an issue when it comes down to it. Right now, though, it's available in over 70 languages. It's from research at Google, so it's from that side of it. But so it's still a beta testing app. It's going to show up on all Pixel 3s for sure. It's going to be already installed on there. Mm-hmm. And right now, I think it's rolling out to Android users. What do you think of this?
I think it's amazing. So in the promo video they had for the Live Transcribe, one of the stories they were telling was a son and a father, and the father's deaf, and his son can hear, and it really is showing how it's helped him communicate with his son so much better, and helping with, you know, talking to his teachers for parent-teacher conferences. And so I think it's an amazing thing.
Yeah.
Anything to help with, you know, those people with those afflictions and just make it easier to communicate.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree as well. I mean, and Raymond's saying it does both sides of the conversation. Yeah, and I honestly just downloaded this, just rolled out. I haven't tried it out with the two-way conversation, but supposedly it works with that. You know, and it's 70 different languages. We'll see where they take this kind of technology, but I think I'm with you. You know, if it's helping people out, I feel like this is a good use of technology.
Yeah, and like there's gonna be the people that don't like it recording you, but if it's helping, you know, like it's like if the good outweighs the bad,
right?
I'm all for it.
Yeah, I mean, and there's going to be a little bit of each side. I think when it comes to that. Oh, I'm seeing the comment right now, Keelan. Okay, so it's bad enough I have to listen to Greg talking. Now I have to read it too. No, thank you. We have all the comedians coming out of the woodworks today. But I mean, I think if it's recording you, you know, what are you going to do? I tested it out last night. I'm like, all you're going to get is the spoiler for Velvet Buzzsaw, which I was watching, which is what I tested it on. So, yeah. So I think it's an interesting use of this app, and it's called Live Transcribe. It's not available on iOS yet. No word on when that's going to come out, which kind of makes sense. It's a Google app. You know, they're
still testing
take their time. But it's rolling out for testing if you have an Android phone. So you'll just have to check to see if it's in your area. I think you can sign up to see if you can download it. But yeah, I think it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All for
so
it.
there we go. Let's see. Let's do one more story here. This was also a very big trending story, and this is especially if you're a gamer. Has to do with Apex Legends.
Yeah.
Which is a game out that just was announced yesterday. So it was announced and released yesterday. It racked up 1 million players in less than 8 hours.
That's
a lot of players.
That is absolutely
in a short
insane.
amount of time. So it's a free-to-play battle royale shooter set in the Titanfall universe. If you play Titanfall, so this isn't Titanfall 3, and it's the next one after Titanfall 2, but it's set in the same universe. And it's, over 1 million unique users in 8 hours.
Yeah, and one stat I saw as well is that on Twitch, it had double the average of Fortnite and League of Legends viewers.
That's crazy.
Which is insane because League of Legends has been big in gaming for years, and Fortnite is taking over the world, essentially. And this game just comes in less than 24 hours from when it's been released, and
boom,
it's
the number one, the most popular game on Twitch.
Yeah, but what I will say is I think the buzz will die down, and
you think it's going to go away?
Yeah, I think it will.
Let's see, Brian says Apex Legends also available on Mac OS. I don't know. I would have to take a look because this did just come out. We've got a great article at digitaltrends.com where you can take a look and see where it's out. Raymond says another Fortnite type game. It does sound like it's pretty similar. I mean, it just came out yesterday. I'll say I have not played it since it came out yesterday, although over 1 million people have.
Yeah.
So it's free to play. It's a free game. It's available on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC for free right now. So that's where it's out.
Yeah, and if the success does continue, I'd be interested to see if they present at E3 in a few months, because the new big up-and-comers love to show off there, and I think that's a great place for them to do it.
Yep, well, we'll have to see what happens with that. So that's Apex Legends, now available for free. Over 1 million unique users in less than 8 hours. All right, you can check that out at digitaltrends.com. We have lots coming up on the show. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and be joined by Stephan Paternot. I'm so excited to talk to him about his book, about the Globe, about the show, about Slated. There's a lot to get to in a short amount of time. We're broadcasting live. Drop in your comments and questions right there. We'll make sure we get to those. Riley, thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for surviving the snowpocalypse and making it in here today. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back here in a minute with more Digital Trends Live. Welcome back to Digital Trends Live. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in wherever you find us. We really do appreciate it. And we are broadcasting live every day, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, bringing you all kinds of stories, tech topics, and interviews. I'm Greg Nibbler. I'm very excited about our next guest. So, let me just walk through some of this. He is the author of a book called A Very Public Offering, The Story of theglobe.com and the First Internet Revolution. He's the co-founder of theglobe.com. He is he's represented in Valley of the Boom on the National Geographic Network, and he's also the CEO and founder of Slated.com. Stephan Paternot, hello. Thank you so much for joining us today. Oh, did we just lose him?
That's quite
Okay.
an intro you gave me. Thank you.
Okay, so just to set, for everybody watching, just to re-emphasize that we are live. Sometimes we do have connection issues that happen. Just to check with my production booth. Okay, I think I can hear you right now.
Okay, that's weird. I was crystal clear for me, but
It was, of course, it just happened, yeah, on my end, right when
well,
we...
you know, I use Spectrum Internet, and what do you expect? They had a massive outage last night from all the floods in LA, so...
Oh, really?
You
So
never know.
the floods shut down the internet in LA?
Well, you know, while everyone else is getting the polar vortex, we're getting flooded in LA, and ironically, you know, this is a state where everyone's complaining about all the fires all the time. Well, in January, it's just torrential pour down. I live in the hills, so the water is pouring down the hill, and last night I lost my internet.
That is horrible. Actually, and we just lost you again right now. So I don't know if you can hear us or not. So I'm gonna ask my next question.
Oh my God.
And then we're gonna see. I know, wouldn't it? This is perfect. You know, we're talking about the internet. We're having a discussion about it. Why wouldn't this happen right now? Well, let me try to get into a question here and see if you can hear me. Because I wanted to walk back just talking about your book. And you know, November 13th, 1998, you know, you have 4 years basically working up to build theglobe.com. It goes public, and this IPO sets a record for how fast it went up, for how fast that share went up. What was that feeling like on that day when you see all this work and just boom, see that kind of growth in one day?
It was completely surreal. I'm assuming you guys can still hear me. Yeah, it was a completely euphoric experience. It was also terrifying. We had no idea what was really going on. We didn't know what it meant to be running a public company. We certainly had no expectation that we were going to set some sort of world record IPO. We were just excited that we were raising more capital. The company was going to stay alive. But everyone cheering all around us, everyone calling us to tell us we're on TV, on CNN, all over the world was, again, a little bit of a surreal experience and what it's like to be broadcast all over the world. But I can tell you that, you know, over the weekend, the anxiety started building about what's going to happen on Monday. You know, what are we supposed to do exactly? We have to prepare to report our first quarterly earnings shortly. Everyone is, you know, calling us. We're getting interviewed left and right. What are we supposed to do? We're just two 24-year-old kids, and no one's quite experienced anything this crazy. So I didn't think we felt really prepared for this.
Yeah, I mean, and you're right, though. Like, no one else had really done this before. There wasn't like a playbook for, right, especially for an internet company. And being 24 years old, all of a sudden, you're not only wealthy, you have one of the most successful websites in the world, but you're also famous. Because like you said, you're all of a sudden, now you're on all of these channels. I think that'd be overwhelming for anybody in that position to try to handle.
Yeah, I mean, it was, and our board of directors, who are all very accomplished, were, you know, in their 50s and 60s, and they didn't know.
I think we just cut out just a little bit there, but they didn't know, they probably don't know how to handle an internet company either.
No, they didn't know how to run an internet company, and they certainly hadn't expected for there to be this crazy IPO, huge amount of mania, and the fact that our stock went up 1,000%. It meant that expectations were sky high, and you know, we were still a small
company at that time.
Expectations, yeah. Sorry, am I cutting in and out still? Or
yeah, it's just cutting in and out just a little bit, but I can tell where you're going with it.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
Oh no, you know.
I can't help you with Spectrum. These guys are super unreliable now.
Worst ad for Spectrum ever.
I hope they're not a sponsor of the show.
No, they're not. No, you're fine. Well, no, I want to talk about this too. So now I do have the book here too. So I want to recommend to everybody. It's a fascinating read, and this is Stephan's book, and you know your experience with theglobe.com. Obviously, you can read all through this and talk about where it went and how it crashed down and just what that was all like. But now it's being represented on a television show. How did they approach you when they talked about this for Valley of the Boom, again on the National Geographic Channel? How did you find out about this?
See, that's what I said.
Well, they had told me about a year in advance that they were putting together some sort of a documentary series. So I didn't really think about it before. I've done a lot of these documentary interviews, and a year later they brought me in to do the interview, and I did it. But it turned into an expansive interview that kept going on and on and on for hours. And then I saw that they had my book and they had a lot of notes, and I realized, oh my God, these guys are way more thorough than I had expected. But what really surprised me was a few weeks later, as my current company Slated is a film finance marketplace, I know a lot of people in the film industry, and I got contacted by casting directors and actors telling me, hey, Steph, were you aware that they're they're putting out a casting notice for actors to play a Mark Andreessen and a Steph Paternot and a Todd Kreiselman. And that's when I got that sinking feeling in my stomach that this was more than I had bargained for, and they were doing a scripted series about this. So I was caught off guard. I was a little bit terrified. Eventually, once I saw the end result of what they were doing, I was honestly flattered and honored that they picked out the Globe out of all of the different pioneering internet companies at the time, because there's plenty of other great stories. But I think it turned out pretty well. I mean, super funny, and it seems to be finding its audience, certainly amongst the people who either lived in that era or the next generation of entrepreneurs who have no clue how the internet has come to be what it is today.
Right, and no understanding of the founding years of all of what actually went on with that. That is kind of interesting. So it's almost a history lesson for some of them.
It's a total history lesson. I mean, for many, for my generation of entrepreneurs, it's a walk down memory lane. It's nostalgic. It's fun. I mean, who would have thought you could take a subject about the creation of a technology and an era and make it so fascinating and off the wall, crazy and cheeky? But I'm hearing from people all over the world in the smallest pockets of education where professors are teaching their students about the birth of the internet and telling them now, like, yeah, before Facebook, there was, theglobe.com, and before Chrome, Google Chrome, and iPhones and whatnot, there was Netscape. And
yeah, and all of these different sites,
It really is for the timing of it. Sorry, you guys are losing me again?
Yeah, nope, now you're back.
Okay. And yeah, so I mean, what's been interesting is the timing of it, because everyone right now is wanting to reevaluate the internet and how did we come to get here. And the internet there's sort of a malaise taking place in the internet with the addiction to social media and echo chambers and fake news and elections being swayed. And I think everyone's wanting to understand, how did we get here? And to be able to look back at the beginning and see what the purity of the vision originally was, and how do we course correct from there, is important. Because if we don't learn our history, we are destined to repeat the same mistakes.
I think that's... Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
So no, I think the timing of the show is really great. And I think that there is already a huge amount of innovation that's going to course correct. There's new entrepreneurs, there's new movements like the blockchain movement that I'm a big believer in that are the beginnings of a major course correction. So I think in the next 10 to 20 years, we will look back and wonder how we ever lived without a blockchain-enabled internet. It will bring power back into the hands of the people as opposed to the large corporations.
I think you answered the question I was going to ask. Like, how do you think that we can course correct? Because I mean, you're so right that going back and understanding, what was actually the original idea with the founding of this stuff, of connecting people, and somewhere along the line, we've gone into all these other areas, and we could have a whole discussion just about that, about where we're at right now, but that course correction thing. So maybe blockchain, some different things that we can do to try to get it back. So you do think it's still steerable? We still can get it back on track?
I do. And when I republished my book, actually, I felt it was important because the book was originally published in 2001. It was a lifetime ago. And so I decided, you know what, I think I owe it to a new generation of entrepreneurs to talk about lessons learned and look back 20 years. And so it's a long epilogue, but I really do talk about lessons learned and where it started, where we are, and where I think it can go. And I do think the internet is completely salvageable. I mean, we can't live without it, but we need to course correct. And course correcting isn't easy. There's no quick fix. The internet is like the Titanic, and it's hit a lot of icebergs. But I do think that if we dig deep enough, we can course correct and move this juggernaut in the right direction, which will make a huge impact on society at large. So it's necessary and it's happening. And, it's people like Vitalik Buterin, founder and leader of the Ethereum blockchain, that are really rethinking from the ground up how society can be improved, and your control of who you are, your identity, your money, your vote, your voice. So it's vital, and it is happening. So I'm very excited about it. We're all basically living through the beginning of the blockchain movement, and which is very much like, if you replace the word blockchain with internet, we're back in 1994, and it's happening all over again. Except instead of saying, like, what is the internet and what is it good for, people are saying, so what is the blockchain and how does it work?
So we're at that same moment again. That's actually makes it very exciting to be at this precipice of something, to see where it's going to go. I also want to talk just really quick too, just about Slated.com and what a great organization that is, what you founded there, and maybe just to explain to anyone who doesn't know what Slated.com is.
Yeah, so Slated is an online film finance marketplace. And simply put, for the people in the tech world who are familiar with AngelList and how AngelList has helped reinvent the ease with which you can put a startup together and assemble a team, raise money, that is Slated for the film industry. The film industry is one of the largest industries in the world. $300 billion a year is being spent on film and television. But the process of finding great projects, pulling together a team, raising the money, getting distribution hasn't changed in 100 years. The only thing that's changed is you can now stream your favorite movies online via Netflix and Hulu and whatnot. So Slated is the first online film finance marketplace. We make it dead easy for you to list your film, assemble your team, get it quantified so you have all these signals as to whether your movie is really good or not, to get it financed and to get you in front of distributors. And as of now, about half of all the movies that have been getting nominated for Academy Awards the last few years or getting into Sundance are made by Slated producers, directors, writers. So we basically onboarded half of the industry, and now we're getting them to increasingly list their movies on the site, which is basically making it way easier to get your movie made and get it released and have a successful outcome.
I love the idea that it's, again, rethinking that industry. And it seems like that's been kind of a hallmark of your career, and taking some risks and rethinking things and where we're going to go from here. And I want to encourage everybody, too, to pick up your book. And Steph, thank you so much for joining us today. You know, sorry about the internet issues that we had. I think maybe it might have just frozen up again. I'm not sure.
No, I'm here. Listen,
Okay.
I've been hearing you perfectly the entire time, even if you haven't.
I can't.
They have a monopoly, and we need to replace Spectrum with a real wireless provider.
See, the Spectrum execs
If you could hear that. I don't
clearly
even know
heard
if you
it.
could hear that.
Actually, that last part just stretched out perfectly when you were saying that, so it was a perfect timing. All right, well, Stephan Paternot, thank you so much for joining us. Pick up a copy of his book right here, a very public offering, and go check out Slated.com and, of course, Valley of the Boom on National Geographic. Thanks so much for joining us. And for everybody watching live right now, we're going to take just a quick break because we're going to be joined by Drew Prindle, who's going to be hopping back here in studio with us. He's been here the last couple of days on the show, and we always love having him in. He's our emerging technologies editor, to talk about the idea of having real-life fact-checking, like live fact-checking of television programs, where it just happens, boom, and they show you whether or not something is real or not. Thinking a little bit of politics here. So we're going to take a quick break. We're broadcasting live. Drop in your comments and questions. We'll be back in a minute with more Digital Trends Live. Welcome back to Digital Trends Live. We are broadcasting live. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in live every day, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. We're here in our Portland, Oregon office. We're going to be going to our New York studio in just a little bit for an interview with Tech with Steph, with Les Shu, who's going to be talking to her. But right now, since we're broadcasting live, we have in here with us Drew Prindle. Hello, Drew.
How's it going?
Doing well, and I think I keep harping on the live thing because I'm thinking about what we're going to talk about right now, which is the idea of possibly having live fact-checking on shows, like as it happens. Like if it were happening for me right now, it would have said, hey, you're pronouncing Steph Paternot's last name wrong. See, so I don't know if I would have wanted that. if I'd had that happen. But nonetheless, like this idea, like where is this coming from and who's working on this?
I mean, so this is something that's like existed for a while, right? Like not live fact checking, but just like the idea of fact checking. Like you've got PolitiFact, the Washington Post does a pretty good fact checking thing.
Snopes.
The Snopes does the same thing. But the thing about it is all of those are still based on human fact checkers. Like that's the backbone of the service. They see something, they see a statement, they send a team of people in there to investigate, and they do a bunch of research, and then they come back with a definitive, like true or false, or like maybe half truth. They pretty much let you know how trustworthy the statement was.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is that it takes time. And that's what people are trying to solve right now.
So how do you, I mean, without actually taking some investigative time and to work into this, and I think this is a Duke University research project that we're talking about.
Duke University.
How are you able to do that in real time? You know, because sometimes if say a politician makes some, I mean, unless it's a blatantly false statement, say they make some statement that's a little bit ambiguous, like how do you actually check that?
So it's kind of an extension of the stuff that we're seeing right now with like, I don't know, like Amazon Alexa, like the way that it hears your voice, hears what you say, it has really good natural language processing, it takes that, sends it to the internet to have it parsed, and then sends back an answer to you. It's kind of the same concept. The idea is to take a statement, take it back, run it through some very complex algorithms, and deliver a definitive statement on whether or not the statement was factual
true
or misleading.
Or not. And so wow. I mean, just to be able to have that live, like, so it would like how would this actually work? I mean, I guess there's a few different questions on this, but would it like pop up on the screen and just be like, boom, liar? Like, or
so,
boom,
so that's I think the end goal. They're working toward building a real-time fact checker for live TV that would happen like in real time. Right there, it would be, they're talking about using your closed captioning that's already built into your TV, so it would kind of just be right there.
Wow.
Because the technology is already there for delivering text on your screen. So
That's
like,
true.
You know, it would not be a huge jump to get, just a little ticker on the bottom or whatever.
To get to where we're at on that.
But so there's a different project that they actually worked on, the same guy who's behind this Duke University project, where it was kind of like a second screen app. So you could be watching TV, and you could open up this app called, I think it was called Fact Stream. And as the TV was going, you know, like it would pop up with like alerts or whatever. It was like whenever somebody said something, it would pop up on your phone a couple minutes later, whether or not that was factual or not. So it's not quite real time, but it was happening like, you know, interactive with the thing that you're walking pretty quickly, and without you having to like, you know, type it in and do your own research, it would kind of just prompt you and give you links right then and there. So this project that they're working on now is an extension of that app.
Okay. So just kind of like like something that a companion that would go along with what you're watching.
So it could come in one of those two forms. Like I think the end goal is to have it on your TV, but I don't know if networks are going to adopt that.
Yeah, whether they'll want to or whether
exactly.
This will be...
So I think more realistically, in the near term, it's going to be something that happens on your phone and that you opt into, and it's on your device. You know.
I'm seeing some comments come through, and I think there's probably a lot of people who have some ideas about this. So let us know if you're watching live, wherever you're at, or even if you're watching afterward. Just leave it in the comments. You know, is this something you think we should adopt? Should we have this kind of thing? Should we have live fact checking? Because I think one of the concerns that I'm seeing here from Raymond just said live facts. You could really twist things.
Exactly.
Which is true. Yeah, depending on who's in control of that. So who would be running that?
I mean, it would probably just be the people who are writing the algorithms. And that's the tricky part, right, is coming up with algorithms that are not biased in any sort of way.
Like, who do you trust? And once that technology is out there, who gets to all use it?
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. And like, if you're presenting something as like definitely true or definitely false, you better like be certain that that is rock solid, because like if that's swaying people's opinions and the way that they vote and the way that they behave, that's a big deal.
I mean, I think we've seen that's not necessarily part of some journalistic integrity for certain places.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that can be across the board. We've certainly all seen some misconstrued ideas that have been out there. I mean, we all know where I'm going with this, but the bottom line is, you know, if one entity has control of that, well, can't they just say, well, no, we should actually have that as well?
I feel like there almost needs to be some sort of like government oversight, or or like, I mean, maybe just like, you know,
some kind of an organization
of some sort that's kind of like holding this group to account to make sure that their fact checking is like, you know, held to a certain standard. Because if if they're just the arbiters of truth and that we only have one group doing that, that introduces a whole different problem.
Yeah, who is actually going to be in charge of that? And yeah, yeah, Eric says, robot Greg would be 100% factual though. All right, yes, if I do turn into a robot, that would actually be, yeah, always factual. I mean, the concept is really interesting. So where are they at in the development? Because I know you were saying maybe by 2020.
Yeah, they're shooting to have like a deliverable one that they can put on live TV during the 2020 election.
Okay.
That's like kind of their
Man,
their
can you
main
imagine?
goal. Oh man, that would change the game for politics because so often, you know, they can just get like during the debates, they can just throw out whatever.
Yeah, they can say anything they want. And that's not a political statement on any side. That's
it's
true
like
of any politician. We all know that.
They've got a mic in their face, and then it's on us to go figure out whether or not that was true. So
yeah,
that's,
if people take the time to do that.
Yeah, which is like kind of a big ask for most people.
Yeah, like, nope, you said it. It's true.
So yeah, they're shooting for that, but they should have beta projects coming out. Like they should have the release coming out later this year, they're saying, or kind of mid this year. So they're already pretty damn close to it. Like I said, they've got that Fact Stream app that they're kind of building on. The guy behind it is the guy who created PolitiFact.com, which is the company behind that. You know, they've got the truthometer thing that you'll see everywhere. So the team working on this is kind of the A team of fact checking on the internet. So
that's good. So I mean, they know what they're doing when it comes down to it. At least they have a record and a history of being, you know, of being pretty right on this stuff, correct on this stuff.
So we're sort of in good heads, but that doesn't necessarily mean we're out of the woods yet. There are still obviously like a ton of problems and little nuances that we're going to have to figure out.
Yeah.
Because some things are not always 100% true or 100% false.
Right. See, and where does it where does it fall in there? Where is it just like a matter of opinion, but it's like, your opinion's really not based on anything.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Or one that Luke brought up.
Climate change isn't real. How does that fall in there, you know?
I mean, obviously.
5G
pants on fire.
Causes, I don't know. But anyway, there's different things in there that we can talk about with that. But, I think there's a lot to figure out, you know, as far as how this gets implemented. I could see it being used as an app over something online, like watching online and...
I mean, I think that would be super useful as well because, I mean, live TV is just one tiny portion of the media that we all consume now. I think it would be really nice to have something like this baked in to the internet as a whole, right? Because that's kind of one of the biggest issues that we have right now is just like, sure, all of the information in the world is available right at our fingertips at any time we want it, but we don't really have a good way to parse what's factual and what is misinformation. So I think the way that we move the internet forward as a whole is baking in more of this kind of stuff into everything on the internet. That's written articles, videos.
Yeah. I mean, I will say I watch, like when I'm watching news or anything a lot, I will be on Wikipedia all the time. Like, well, let me look at that. Let's check out that story. How much is real on that? Or taking a look at some of the comments. Raymond just said, this fact check thing is going to have a rocky start. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not going to be like wrinkle-free as soon as it comes out. It's going to be a work in progress, but I think it's definitely a project worth tackling.
Right. Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I think the adoption and trust in it is going to take a while. But I mean, that's even kind of what Stephan Paternot was talking about, with just, you know, how do we steer this ship back into, you know, back into trusting things and having, you know, some kind of integrity, journalistic integrity. Fine, fact check me, have it on here. And you can tell me when I'm doing something wrong, which people do anyway. That's why we have our live commentators. They will let us know.
I like that we have the comments popping up live on screen now.
We do,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, it's like you don't even have to check the feed.
Nope,
It's
I will
like
be, boom, they are my live fact checkers. Well, all right, thank you everybody for tuning in. So Drew, this is fascinating stuff. And we've got, do we have an article up on this?
So it's going up later today. It should be pushed live around 1 o'clock. So I definitely encourage you to read it because, you know, we got important live TV events coming up later tonight.
Yeah.
The State of the Union address. So I would say, like, have this on your mind. Live fact checking. It's an important thing that you should all look into. Yeah, I think it's definitely something we should be thinking about. Well, Drew, thank you so much for coming in here to talk about that. It's fun stuff. And every day here on Digital Trends Live, we have something different that we're going to be discussing. It's always fun to learn and discuss it with you live and have your comments involved in this and have you fact checking me as we go through. All right, what we're going to do is take a quick break. So we're here in our Portland, Oregon studio. We're going to be heading to our
New York studio with Les Shu, one of our senior editors, who's going to be sitting down with Stephanie Humphrey from Tech Life with Steph, who's going to be suggesting some tech gifts and gadgets that you can get for Valentine's Day. I think it's probably a good idea. I forgot it's coming up. And so, I mean, it's definitely something we should probably think about. And she's got some ideas for you. We're broadcasting live. Drop in your comments and questions. I'm Greg Nibbler. Let's take a quick break. Back in a minute with more Digital Trends Live. Welcome back to Digital Trends Live. I'm Greg Nibbler here in our Portland, Oregon studio, but we have another studio for you, and that's out in New York, and that's where we're going to be heading next, where we're going to be joined by Les Shu, our senior editor, who is sitting down with Stephanie Humphrey, a tech life expert. You can follow her on @TechLifeSteph on Twitter, and she has some great suggestions for us. We're going to head there right now. Let's go to New York, and hello, Les and Steph.
Hey, Greg, thanks so much. How are you guys doing in Portland? Stephanie, you are a tech life expert, but before we talk about Valentine's Day and we pick your brains for gadgets and tips and things like that, you have an interesting background.
Yes.
You have 2 engineering degrees.
I do.
Okay, I want to know how you got from there to doing more lifestyle.
It wasn't a straight line, definitely. I was a little disillusioned with the whole cubicle life, so I took a detour into the entertainment industry and media. So I was acting, I was modeling, I reported traffic for a news station, but then sort of brought it all back around. When you start thinking about brand, what's my brand going to be? You know, I never didn't love technology. I just didn't love that job. So with all my newfound media training, I put it together with my educational background, and a tech life expert was born.
You don't consider yourself an influencer, do you?
I hope not. I hate that word. I mean, anything I can do to help people, help technology make their lives easier is what I love, but I don't use the term influencer.
So tell me what you do as a tech life expert. Let's go into a little bit more about that.
So I appear on various media platforms and outlets, and you know, I was just most recently on Strahan and Sarah, and we were talking about, you know, Marie Kondo's very popular right now, tidying up.
Oh, yeah.
So we tidied up our digital lives. So we talked a little bit about what you can do on your phone to get rid of large text message attachments or apps you're not using or things like that. So those types of sort of consumer tech related things that seem small but make a big difference in the average person's life.
Right, because I think tech consumes so much of our lives these days.
Absolutely.
We've forgotten how to actually almost like live.
Seriously. So you know, you want it to integrate seamlessly and not dominate.
Right. So being that we love all things gadgets, I want to ask you, do you remember your first gadget?
Wow, what was my first gadget? I might be giving away my age a little bit here.
I
had a Commodore 64.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, hooked it up to the television, did my Hello World programs and stuff like that, but I loved it. I loved it.
I wanted an Atari so bad.
I had an Atari 2600 as well.
Awesome.
Played Pitfall, all those cool games, yep.
So you're here because we're talking Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
So tech, Valentine's Day, do they go together?
They can. They can. You can do, kind of traditional physical device type gadgets, or you could do kind of tech related things that have a little tech slant to them.
Gotcha. So if I was giving my significant other who is a gadget fiend, what are some things that you would suggest?
Right. So if they were into fitness, I would say, think outside the box instead of just a Fitbit, because they probably already have one of those. You could do a connected insole if they're a runner. Digisole makes a really great one called the Run Profiler, which, tracks all the stats for you, but it also will track your gait and if you pronate, if you supinate, all the different stuff. So it gives you personalized tips on how to correct your form, how to avoid injury, how to improve your performance. So that's a cool one. And then I love the Hydrate Spark is a connected water bottle.
I have one.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you like it?
I never thought drinking water was a big deal until I had one. And, I can't say scientifically for sure about all like I have an Apple Watch.
Right.
I have this Hydrate.
Right.
And I started noticing improvements in my lifestyle.
I'm telling you, water is life, and I don't think any of us can really say we get enough of it.
Right.
Because you don't think about it during the day. Those thirst indicators don't always go off in your head. So, it just glows when it's time to drink, basically. And it just keeps you on track and tracks your daily intake.
Isn't that crazy? We need
It's
something
so crazy
to remind us.
to remind us to
But
drink
it is
water.
actually really hopeful. What else do you have?
So if you're into jewelry, if your significant other's into jewelry, Uncommon Goods makes these really cool tech, they're cufflinks that are USB flash drives, basically. So there's about 8 gigs in each. So just a little stylish, for the gentleman with a little style. And then Ringly, I love Ringly.
Oh, yes.
They make connected jewelry that you actually want to wear. I've seen a whole lot of folks do it, and it's not cute, clunky, but they make bracelets and rings that are really, really nice, very elegant. They don't look like a piece of tech, but you can connect them to over 200 apps, so you get all those notifications very discreetly. And they just built in a meditation feature as well. Yeah, so that's really nice.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and then let's see. Oh my God, when I was researching this segment, I was like, I'm getting this thing. Instead of just like a phone case or something like that, the phone soap is a device sanitizer. So it uses UVC lighting and literally gets rid of like 99.99% of germs. They have this really cool video on their website. I guess the Discovery Channel or somebody did a test with like nasty stuff on 2 different phones, and it actually worked. They said their website says you have 18 times more bacteria on your phone than that is on the handle on a public toilet in a public restroom.
Now we're gonna freak some people out.
Yeah,
they're
seriously.
gonna be like washing their phone.
But it looks like this thing where you can charge your phone at the same time. This thing looks amazing. I think I'm gonna have to invest in one of these because I know my phone's always in the bathroom with me and everywhere else. So I think it's worthwhile to invest in something like this.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Now you're also big on like social etiquette on social media.
Yes,
is there
absolutely.
any like faux pas that people should avoid this coming Valentine's Day?
If you don't know what you're doing, don't automate anything. I know there are a couple different services that will send text messages on your behalf, but don't do that. Yeah, just keep it personal. Know your partner. If they're not one for the public shout out, changing the status to in a relationship or something like that, like just know your partner, and if they're not comfortable with you sharing, then don't.
Oh my gosh. I'm trying to think of like what are some really awful things to do during Valentine's Day, just
Don't wait till the last minute either. That's the thing. It's like, you don't even have to do much, but it just needs to be thoughtful. I think from a woman's perspective, I'll say, I I would much rather you know, write something where you're professing your love to me, and instead of just grabbing a teddy bear and a bouquet of roses. You know what I mean? I would really rather something be thoughtful and thought through than just generic.
Do you think, we were talking about how our lives are now being inundated with, you know, digital everything. Do you think like we've lost a romance?
Absolutely. This hookup culture, you know, everybody's just swiping right and left, and they're not really taking the time to connect with people in real life. You know, you really can't establish and develop a relationship through text message. You just can't. You know, as much as everybody tries to make it work that way, that really doesn't happen. So, you know, we do have to get back to face-to-face interaction and communication and eye contact and that whole thing.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you coming in to talk to us and giving some tips and some of your favorite products for Valentine's Day.
Yes.
Also, where can we find you on social media?
I am all around the web at Life Steph.
Awesome. So that was Stephanie Humphrey. She's here. She gave us some really awesome tips and some awesome product suggestions for Valentine's Day. So if you haven't bought anything yet, now's the time. Otherwise, it's going to be completely meaningless. But according to Stephanie, a handwritten note is just as good. I'm going to throw it back to Greg over in our Portland studio. Back to you, Greg.
All right, thanks, Les. And yes, those are some great tips. Thank you, Stephanie. Stephanie Humphrey, Tech Life with Steph. So check out everything that she's got there and take advantage of those tips that she just gave us. All right, so everybody tuning in, I want to say thank you for joining us. So we're live here every day, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. Just kind of recap some of the stuff we talked about. We had Riley Wynn in earlier. We've got that article up at digitaltrends.com. You can take a look at the newest potential renderings of the Samsung foldable phone. You can follow that right there. We had Stephan Paternot in here, author of this very book, A Very Public Offering, and also featured in the National Geographic series, Valley of the Boom. Big thank you to Steph for joining us on today's show. Stephanie Humphrey, of course, with Les Shu out there in our New York office. Coming up tomorrow on the show, we have Chaz Tanas. If we had live fact-checking right now, it would probably say Greg did not pronounce that correctly. But Chaz from Go Nation is going to be joining us. So Chaz is going to be in here on the show with us. We've also got Kim Wetzel, our smart home editor, who's going to be in here. And Adrian Warner sighting, I believe, is going to be happening. And also possibly a Jeremy Kaplan appearance. Yes, the Jeremy Kaplan may be appearing right on this show tomorrow. We'll have to find out, and that's the best way to find out is by hitting subscribe. Hit subscribe wherever you're watching us right now, so that way you know when we go live. But I'll tell you right now, it's 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, every single day, with tech headlines, interviews, everything you need to get your day going right. Drop us in your comments, questions. We appreciate it. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. I'm Greg Nibbler. We'll talk to you tomorrow with some more Digital Trends Live.